Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Trek fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the time traveling toy collector, and this is the Hero Collector Eagle Moss Star Trek XL version of the USS Enterprise NCC 1701 from the 2009 Star Trek movie. So another XL entry into the canon for Hero Collector. You'll notice this time I'm not rotating it, and I'll talk a bit about why that is shortly. I am, however, going to rotate it manually and very gently. As ever, with all of the Hero Collector Eagle Moss models, this is a very, very detailed and textured piece. I'm going to tilt it slightly so you can get a look at the bridge area there. So there's the saucer section with all of its detailing. It doesn't have all or as prominent the running lights around the saucer that we've seen in other iterations of the craft, but nevertheless there is some detailing of that there. We also, of course, as I try and zoom in a bit more, have the bridge module here, which you can see quite clearly pulled out from the model itself. This, I'll come straight to the point on this one. This is not my favorite. This is not my favorite iteration. I kind of tried to like it in the films, but I don't know whether I was successful in convincing myself that I liked it. Certainly in some shots it looks extremely good, but in other shots I'm not so sure. Now we can see now, as I've moved it around slightly, that we also have the main deflector dish in the same blue transparent plastic, and we can see under the dish. And I will take it off the stand momentarily to give you a bit of a tour for it, but I'll carry on turning it around for now so you can take a look at the secondary hull. The rather large nacelles, and you can see that we do have the Bussard collectors pulled out in the blue transparent plastic as well, with some interesting detailing on there. We can turn it around to get a closer look at the aft section. So here we can see that there is quite a bit of detailing along the nacelles. We can see the panels in there. We can see the level of intricacy that again has been applied to this model. We can also see we have the impulse engines there, and we also have the shuttle bay, which does not, alas, open in this version. You'll be surprised, I'm sure, to note. The detailing is, as always, as I've sort of alluded to already, exceptional, as they always are. Eagle Moss is always exceptional. And here it comes. This is the thing that it breaks my heart to say it. When I opened this one up, one of the nacelles, this nacelle here, was separate to the body of the ship. It had detached itself in transit. I hope it was in transit. I was able to reattach it, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, because it was very easy to reattach it. I didn't need to use any glue. I had visions of it becoming a very messy Enterprise, if you excuse the expression, but it didn't need to become one. I was able to clip it on. But, and I'll see if I can show you this without compromising or risking anything, but you can see there the level of tilt that still exists in that. It doesn't happen with this one. This one's quite robust. The level of tilt in that it makes me extremely uncomfortable. So I didn't want to have the turntable going full pelt, purely because I had no idea of just the level of impact that might have on that slightly less secure rear nacelle. So you can probably appreciate my model anxiety around that. That issue notwithstanding, it is a good model. I mean, we do get a lot of detailing, as we always do. I'm going to tilt it up again so you can see the underside of the craft, and we can see some of the detailing around the phaser bank and the photon torpedo tubes here. We can see the below the saucer section where there is still some detailing, presumably where the captain's yacht would sit. So they do bring with them, for this variation, all of the trademark bells and whistles, but I must admit, when I opened it, my confidence was shaken slightly, as you'll appreciate, by that problematic nacelle. You can see it much more clearly from this angle, so you'll appreciate my previous points when I've been looking at the XL Starship range. These are display models. These are not toys. They will not stand up to much robust handling. That said, I would have hoped they would have stood up to the postal service delivering them, but alas, it did not in this instance. And it's also, and I don't really want to say this because my experience with Hero Collector and Eagle Moss products has overall been spectacularly positive, but unfortunately on this occasion it wasn't. And again, without wanting to dwell too heavily, this wasn't the only Starship where I've had that experience. So very quickly, I'm just gonna for the sake of the review and for you to get a chance to look at it more closely, I'm going to take it out of the stand very carefully for obvious heart-stopping reasons. Move that over there for now, and I'm just going to give you a chance to have a real view of the USS Enterprise. Very close detailing on the bridge there. You can see everything is so beautifully put together. It's a shame about the issue with the nacelles, of course it is, but you can see again the detailing on the surface of the nacelles, right to the tip of those nacelles, is superb. There you can see the engines within them, and this very lovely swooping struts that hold and carry the nacelles. The neckline is beautiful. We can see the inlaid windows there. The underside of the saucer section, again very beautifully detailed, far more clearly you can see it here. And then we have NCC registration for the Enterprise itself. So I'm really not looking to slate Hero Collector for this model, because I think it was probably just a dose of bad luck for me, as I'd never had a bad experience with any of my deliveries. And you know what this is? You can't deny that this is a beautiful, high quality overall model of the movie series Kelvin timeline USS Enterprise. I think my only sort of key issue with it, I'm just trying to get different angles for you there, has been the unfortunate issue with those naughty nacelles. I'm just going to pop it back in the cradle now and hope to goodness it just slides in without any problem. There we go. Thankfully that seems to have worked neatly. Let me just bring this up so you can get as much of that in to shot at the same time as possible, because it is a hefty ship. You know, these are, as I've mentioned in other reviews of the XL range, these are larger vessels. You know, they do take up space in terms of length and in terms of height, so you know, you do need to be able to give them space to display. And I have a cabinet, I've mentioned this before, where I display all of these behind a glass front, or most of them behind a glass front, and removing them always gives me palpitations, because I'm just waiting for that horrific moment when one of them slips, or I become I go all Butterfingersy and they end up crashing down to the ground. So I'm always terribly mindful that I'm one slip of a finger away from damaging it myself. So yeah, in terms of a review of the ship, I think it's a beautiful model. I think it's very, very screen accurate as far as you can get with Hero Collector and Eagle Moss for this particular range and price point. It's an XL, so it's not one of the cheaper, smaller models. It scales nicely with the other Enterprises, so it does make for a nice collection. And as I've mentioned before, at some point, perhaps when I've gone through all the available Enterprises that are of interest to me, and by that I mean the ones that have appeared on screen in one format or another, not so much the online iterations, but we won't get into discussions about canon in this video, or we may never get away. But rather than get caught up in all of those discussions, I'd rather leave you with a lingering shot of this ship. Again, is it value for money? If you're collecting all of the Enterprises and you're a true collector, then you know already the answer to that is it's going to be worth whatever it's worth to you as a collector if you want to have it in your collection. It's that straightforward. I'm glad I got it. I love this. I do like, I think love is too strong. I do like the overall shape of it. I do like seeing it in the film, but that doesn't detract from the fact that I don't think it's one of my favorite iterations of the Enterprise, if I'm being candid. But the completist in me wouldn't let me leave it unpurchased, as I'm sure you can appreciate. So here we have it, joining the ranks of the other ships of the line of NCC 1701 before we start getting into the lettered versions that follow. I would recommend it, definitely. I would be mindful of its vulnerabilities. As I said before, I think it's the same vulnerabilities that all the ships have, particularly around some of these very fragile joints in terms of the nacelles particularly, so that you do need to be careful when handling it, you do need to be careful where you display it, and you do need to be careful about who else might touch it or move it helpfully, if they're doing cleaning or they're doing anything, or you're doing some cleaning and you might just lift it the wrong way. I'm not convinced it could support its own weight depending where you pick it up from. And as I say, mine was already damaged in the post, which was a huge disappointment for me and made me very wary, because these are not cheap pieces. Anyway, I hope this has been useful for you. I hope it's helped you make your mind up about whether to enter the Kelvin timeline Starship Enterprise into your collection, or indeed not. Either way, do let me know in the comments below. Do hit the thumbs up button to let me know that you've watched the video, and perhaps give a subscription to the channel, which would be amazing, and turn on the notifications so that you never miss a future video. You have been a fantastic audience, and I have been the time-traveling toy collector, and this has been the Hero Collector USS Enterprise NCC 1701 from the 2009 Star Trek film. Thanks very much. Remember, as ever, that a thing of beauty is a toy forever. One to beam up.